So Game Elevate actually had an interview with the developers on Trove, and there's some very funny things, let's just say that much. I'm going to be reading, just giving out some of my first reaction and impressions regarding all of that, and also just giving my own personal feedback as a player who has been playing this game for more than years. And I will be leaving a link in the description down below for you to just read it out yourself if you want. There's going to be plenty of questions and some answers that are going to be pretty long, so this might be a long video. We all know how interviews were, just trying to make themselves look as best as possible for obvious reason, but as a player, I will probably not hold back. So the interview goes as follows. The evolution of Trove, an exclusive interview with the developer. For nearly a decade, Trove has captured the hearts of sandbox and MMO fans with its vibrant voxel-based worlds and limitless player creativity. As the game continues to evolve, we sat down with the Trove development team to discuss how they balance new content with legacy mechanics. Spoiler alert, they don't. Perfect example is the latest update with the new dragon. Why the hell does it cost 3 times the amount as any other dragon in the game? They don't balance. How do you approach the balancing of new content while preserving the core elements that made the game popular in the first place? And the answer goes as follows. You are absolutely right. After nearly 10 years, balancing is a never-ending challenge. Yeah, you got that right. Our approach is built on 3 pillars: math, testing, and community. So if you played this game for more than a year, you already know that neither of these 3 things happen in this game. Oh boy, this is going to be a long read. We begin with calculation to ensure continuous game progress. However, pure calculation can sometimes be misleading. Some encounters might be too easy. Yes, that is true. Some encounters are very easy. In fact, this game is very easy in the first place, while others may regenerate health too quickly, making them unbeatable. To refine this, we test new content internally and make necessary adjustments. Moving on, I'm not gonna say anything regarding that one. That said, with 18 classes, countless updates, and minigames, community feedback is essential. Why you don't go dark for like 5 months at a time? Why the hell does that even happen? I have no goddamn clue. Our public test server provides with an early look of upcoming content, and we actively monitor our Discord channel where players share their thoughts. This collaboration helps us fine-tune gameplay before official releases. Luckily, Trove's core system, like Mastery, Power Rank, allows for expansion, while maintaining a familiar feel no matter how wild new content gets. These mechanics ensure a sense of progression remains intact. Now, I'm just going to be going over all of the things that I just read. Countless updates, and some of these last updates have not been really good. Minigames, you got that right. This game is minigame city. And then community feedback being essential. Again, I just mentioned communication between the developers and the players normally is really bad. Public test server provides an early look of upcoming content. This is also very true. We actively monitor the Discord channel where the players share their thoughts. This is also very true. This is mainly how you can actually just give feedback to the developers, either the Trove source or the official Trove Discord server. And the core system, Mastery, Power Rank, this is very true, and that's why they need to make Power Rank and Mastery just essentially a good progression for their player, especially Power Rank with Mystic Gear and Dragons. Mystic Gear takes too long, Dragon takes too long. That's the reason why people duplicated Dragon coins like no one's business, and then just tried to justify that being a good thing. Even despite just cheating, they still didn't even get all of the dragons. That's how ridiculous all of the dragons in the game are, that even with 2 months of cheating, you still don't get all of them. And same with Mastery, there's far too many items that are either time gated or they're far too difficult to obtain, but at the very least you can get a little bit more leeway with Mastery because it caps out at Trove Mastery 500, Geo Mastery 100. Pretty much everything after that is just going to be flex. For Power Rank, that's entirely different. Oh boy, I am just yapping like crazy, and that was the first question. So let's move on to the next question. So I'm completely stupid. When I actually did the original recording, I skipped through this one particular question. I don't know why that I managed to skip like one full whole question, and it is going to be quite important. Anyways, let's move on. The second question was supposed to be, how do you decide which player-generated content makes it into the game, and how does that influence in the development process? So this is going to be something like really important regarding Trove in general, because a lot of the things regarding Trove are player-made. Some of the collections you see, in many cases, a lot of players made most of the costume styles that you actually do like, and a lot of the mods that you do see that are very good in terms of quality of life, made by players. We don't just take any player-created content and drop it into the game. I mean, you should. In a lot of cases, it saves up time. You can just pick it up from other players, give them reward, and it creates a lot of motivation for the players to create more. It's a win-win scenario in that regard. And mods, don't get me started with mods, how important mods are going to be in the game. Most contribution come from community contests, and where we set specific themes, like our 8th birthday event in 2023, where the players design birthday cake. We receive everything from adorable allies and mounts to full-scale dungeons. Of course, we can't implement everything. This is also true. I do say all of those things because they are very beneficial towards the game. A lot of things that players made are going to be really good, and again, it encourages players to make more. Of course, there's something that they can't add, like there's mods for Genshin Impact type of characters. Like, of course, those should not be in the game because it's not legally appropriate, even though they stuff like Monster Hunter armor, and not only that, like a Monster Hunter weapon as well, or the gravity hammer from Halo, the Batman costume, which is Trove and Defender, which is the costume that I use. I'm getting ahead of myself, but just going to let you all know that those are in the game. Anyways, moving on. We filter out submission with technical issues or themes that don't fit. Doesn't really matter. You have a weekly chaos chess system. You can just implement whatever the hell you want over there. People don't care about like what theme it is. I get it with events, I get it with updates, but when it comes to chaos chess or some random items, just drop whatever you want. I don't know why we don't have costume dropping in the Chaos Chess rotation. That would be really good. But hey, the remaining entries go through an internal voting process before we select the winners. For in conclusion, beyond contests, our community creates mod that tweaks visuals, UI elements, and gameplay. We love seeing their creativity and always look to integrate high quality player contribution into Trove's evolving universe. Please, there are so many quality of life mods that could be in the core game. I know, I get it. W, you're a console player, hehe. I played this game on PC and there's so many quality of life stuff that are just incredibly good. The better UI, better inventory in general, just the bigger inventory, the mini map, just telling you how many dungeons per hour you can just see, the item tracker, like those are some little things that can just make the game like really good. There are so many things in this game that could really benefit from mods, just the core game in general. Anyways, that was the question that I accidentally skipped like an idiot. Now let's move on to Past Me. What is the overarching design philosophy behind Trove's mechanic and world building? At its core, Trove is built on 3 principles: silly fun, mechanical novelty, and accessibility. The last one, very questionable, and the other 2, yeah, sure. Mechanically, the game is very simple, it's silly fun, but accessibility, hell no. The game's wacky, self-contradictory world is part of its charm. Mechanically, we introduce both small and large changes, from new pet effects to entirely new system or classes. Accessibility doesn't necessarily mean new players can engage with every update immediately. Rather, we ensure that the new feature is built on existing mechanics instead of breaking them. Again, that's bullshit. One of the reasons why a lot of players get confused and quit is just that they are completely overwhelmed with so many mechanics and so many things that are in the game and they just don't do anything. That's why a lot of players tend to ignore certain aspects of the game. Rampage, geocache, for example, like stuff like Profession, Bomber Royale, and many other things. You can actually just take that into account. There are far too many things in this game. It's easy to understand once you have someone explain it to you, but it is definitely not accessible game, especially for the newer player. For example, our Punches and Potions update introduced 2 new trade skills. While more complex than previous one, they still follow the same core of crafting principle, keeping them familiar yet fresh. Probably just butchered that whole sentence. Anyways, so this is true. Essentially just adding profession. Same thing you can say with gear crafting. It's professions. Professions, all of them just have a very similar feel. But the same thing you could also say with Fishing 2.0, Gardening 2.0, with regular gardening, Delve being like the Shadow Tower replacement, Bomber Royale being a change from regular PvP. Just because they are fresh doesn't make them good. And Punches and Potion wasn't even that great. It was just 2 pretty mediocre professions. Moving on to the next one. How important is community feedback in shaping Trove's direction? The first thing that I just read is community feedback is everything. But we know some players might wonder, why haven't you implemented this yet? I say that a lot. Why is Mystic Gear still a pain in the ass to grind? Why didn't they implemented something to just mitigate the whole grinding? Why haven't you done quality of life to help out with the accessibility that you claim that you have in this game? This is a thing that I will say every single time, and I'm not going to change the way that I think. This game needs quality of life more than anything. A lot of the things in this game that people don't like doing are old stuff. Geode caves, you move really slow. What do? Increase the character speed so that the game just feels a lot better. We increase already the mining speed accidentally but everything is going to be better if you make it a little bit faster. Though the fact that it requires you to do tens of thousands of them to actually just get everything, memento, the banner styles, and all of those things are better if you make them easier. Luminopolis, why is all of the old crafting recipe back in 2018 still as difficult right now as it was back then? Dragons, don't get me started with all of the dragons and dragon coin. They haven't updated anything related on how to get the dragon coin. They keep adding dragons in the game. Look at the newest dragon. They haven't gave us a way to get more dragon coins. The perfect example of a good quality of life of something old, look at the Leviathan. Look what they did with the Leviathan badge. If you defeat 250 of any Leviathan, you get the highest Leviathan torch. And that was something that got implemented later down the line. It wasn't there when the update came out into the deep. It just came out later because players were doing too much. And that was just a very small, simple change that just made a whole lot of difference. Imagine what they can do with a lot of quality of life to some of the other problems that we have currently in the game. As a great example is progression pacing. Players often tell us that progression takes too long. Check out Mystic Gear. It takes you like 500 to 600 hours to have a maxed out Mystic Gear, and that's just end game, that's just gear, that's not counting gems, that's not counting dragons. Yes, progression takes far too long in this game. In this game, people were just cheating and they were just like, no, I'm just cheating because everything just takes too long. I understand the reason why it takes so long. Cheating is not a good thing, by the way, but progression is just bad in this game. Why is it normal to just take 500 to 600 hours just to max out one set of Mystic Gear? And if you want players to use different types of classes, you're expecting players to spend thousands upon thousands of hours just to max out a full set of Mystic Gear, not including getting all of the dragons in the game and not including maxing out all of your gems to 100%, which is time-gated content. That takes too long. And that's not counting all of the walls that you encounter. 30,000 power and the 40,000 power and crystal level 5 Mystic Gear, yada yada yada. So many things that are just really bad in regards to this progression. If player could instantly unlock everything, they miss the excitement of finding rare items, overcoming tough bosses, exploring new biomes with friends. That's what makes Trove special. Again, 600 hours for Mystic Gear. No. Dragons. No. Bowie. That said, we do listen. A recent tutorial overhaul was based on feedback that the introduction wasn't engaging enough. The new version is more interactive that represents Trove's unique charm from the very beginning. Which is very true. Again, I did mention this in my video regarding the tutorial. It's a good addition to the game, but it just feels empty. Rising Tides was the previous big update and it was just absolutely horrible. It was a disaster. It felt just super rushed. Just putting the Trove tutorial at that point, it just felt really out of place. It wasn't a bad thing. It just felt super out of place considering all the problems that the game had. And that was the last update that we received all the way to Trials of Luxion, which that was 5 months ago. In the Trials of Luxion, again, doesn't do any big notable changes to the game considering that the community has been begging for many other things. I feel like I'm just reading ChatGPT all up in this bitch. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on. Getting heated. I don't want to get triggered. Just move on. What steps are being taken to ensure Trove remains accessible and fun for new players? One major step was resigning our tutorial to make it feel more like a Trove adventure rather than checklist. Beyond that, we're focusing more on horizontal features that all new players, new and old, can enjoy equally. For example, we are working on new game modes and classes that aren't being locked behind long grind wall. We're also looking for improvements for the hub, which has grown crowded over the years. Players struggle to navigate. We want to make it more intuitive while preserving its charm. This is completely new. We're working on new game modes. Don't need more game modes, but hey, more game modes. But the other thing, classes. They're working on new classes that aren't locked behind grind walls. Hopefully, because Solarian is a pain in the ass. Vanguardian is still a pain in the ass, even though it's a class from 2018. Don't get me started with the Bard, it's also a pain in the ass. Classes shouldn't be too extremely difficult to get because the point is to actually just have options to play with different types of classes. That's beside the point considering the grinding for one class, it takes like forever, but hey, they just want the player to enjoy the journey. They don't want them to unlock everything because they will miss the excitement. Just spend 700 hours just to get to Mystic Gear, and then just spend 600 more to max out that Mystic Gear for one character. Have fun. It's also the same thing with the hub and improvements to the hub. The hub is very, very crowded. Everything is just cramped out together and not approachable, especially when there's an event going on, like Turkeytopia, for example. Yes, an improvement to the hub would be greatly appreciated to just make the game much more approachable. Moving on to the next one, what do you look for in partnership when working on crossovers and collaboration? Trove's versatility makes collaborations fun. Since our world spans genre like fantasy, sci-fi, and pirate, I was expecting more like fantasy, sci-fi, adventure, action, all of that. No, not pirates, what the hell? We can adapt many themes while keeping things lighthearted. Our main concerns are age appropriateness, making sure that crossover feel playful rather than forced. If we can integrate a partner's theme in a way that's fun and natural, we know that we're on the right track. Yeah, I'm not going to say too much in regards to all of that. Game is essentially just very family friendly, even though RNG that this game has is like not age appropriate. It's definitely not family friendly. God damn. I'm surprised that you don't get banned for gambling because this game is all about RNG. It's kind of wild. How do you manage content pacing to keep players excited without overwhelming them? Okay. So I'm going to read first before answering the question myself. So, live service game move fast, and Trove is no exception. We have a massive backlog of idea, but we balance it with realities of development, which is understandable. The development team is not too big, but please just let the players know if community feedback is very important to you guys. Tell the players, hey, we are working on this. What do you guys think? Have a test server for a reason. Throw stuff up on the test server. Let players just test it out. That's how you ended up adding the hidden effects, the crystal ring effects. That was a testing thing, not part of an update. Look where it turned out. A lot of players really like the hidden effect. Even though it requires a rebalancing and some new ones would be nice. Our team didn't originally build Trove. We took over after its launch, so maintaining older system can be tricky. We are actively streamlining outdated mechanics to free up time for new content creation, ensuring updates remain exciting without overloading players. If you're still listening to this point of the video, first of all, God bless your heart. Secondly is, just let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Just put this timestamp on screen. Just give me your answer to this. I want to see what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'm just very curious because I cannot be the only one that just literally just read all of this and it's like, yeah, live service game move fast. Trove is no exception. Sure, it is true. We have a massive backlog of idea, but we balance it with realities of development, which is very true. Getting an update every 2 or 3 months is still a good pace. Pretty much most games update every so often, which is usually what they call seasons. I never have a problem with like how many updates that they drop in a year regarding Trove. 6 updates per year is a good pace for however many updates that we've received. Not so much last year, which we only received 4 updates, and this year is looking to be another very slow year. So we're actively streamlining outdated mechanics to free up time for new content creation, which is bullshit because Rampage is still exactly the same thing. Rarely do they go some of the old content and then just streamline it. If that were the case, again, I'm going to keep harping on Mystic Gear because Mystic Gear is the perfect example of all of the wrong things that they have implemented recently with this game. It takes too long to get to that point. Once you actually get to that point, it takes too long to max it out, and the reward is not good enough. And that being an essential part towards your progression, being power rank, is really bad considering that there's other things that you have to do in order to get to Mystic Gear in the first place. But either way, now let's move on. The last question, right? Yeah, this is the last question. What's the long-term vision of Trove? Are there any new big feature or gameplay changes that you're particularly excited about? So this is going to be new stuff. So I'll be reading all of this. Our goal is to keep Trove fresh with new content and mechanic while refining core systems like Mastery and Power Rank. Right now, we're focusing on improving older systems so they require less maintenance. This frees up to create bigger and better updates. We're also exploring new gameplay modes and challenging content that push engagement and innovation. Expect fresh mechanics, creative challenges, and more ways for the community to shape the world of Trove. This just feels so AI, so ChatGPT is unreal. With nearly a decade of evolution behind it, Trove remains a unique and ever-growing adventure. Whether you're a long-time player or a curious newcomer, the future of this voxel wonderland looks brighter than ever. I just put my head on my microphone, by the way. Sorry about that. I'm just looking at this recording is 37 minutes long. Normally don't post really long videos, but this has been such an experience that I might as well just post it. Normally I just post shorter videos, and at most maybe 15-minute long videos where I just document a certain thing, a certain aspect, or just talking about a certain character. I haven't done one of those like 30-40 minute long video in a really, really long time. But I really would just want to post this video because this is an interesting thing, to say the least. By the way, I haven't just gone over the last question. Like, I'm just going to be repeating almost exactly the same thing that I just been repeating throughout this whole video. Right now, they're focusing on older system, which is untrue. What, a new tutorial that just felt so out of place that no one asked. Luxion just being worse because you had to grind to get the same items that you used to be able to get before using dragon coins, and it still costs dragon coins. It's just what? Older players are already done all of this content. Let's just make it so that the newer players can just enjoy this content but still make it a somewhat decent progression, because no one is going to be just sitting here just grinding 200 rampages. Even though the rampage has been here since 2018. No one is going to be grinding the whole entirety of the Geode Caves, grinding all the bardian that is required to get all the materials to get bard. And Geode Caves is a thing that has been here again since 2018. Luxion has been an outdated merchant, and then you made it worse, and Luxion has been here since 2017. You had to make stuff much more approachable if it is an older content. If you make all of the things take as long as they were back in the day, what are you going to expect the new players to do? The new players are going to just sit down and have to spend hundreds of hours in one game mode, hundreds of hours in another game mode, hundreds of hours in just getting all of the dragons, or even thousands of hours, hundreds of hours just to max out their gear, hundreds of hours just to max out their gems. You are expecting the players to spend an average of around 1,000 to 2,000 hours in this game alone. Again, this game is not the most popular game out there. There are many games that players could easily just run into and just start playing the game. I'm not saying that this game should be just getting to the end game in like 50 hours. What I'm saying is that you shouldn't be able to take hundreds of hours just to do something that is not going to be that big of an impact, but you still need it in order for you to progress into this game. Geode Caves is the perfect example. Geode Caves is a thing that a lot of players have been asking to just make it better. Yes, you made the laser a little bit better, but the game mode is still run way too slow. And then you take into account the dells, the mementos, all the mount drop, and even the banner styles. Who in the hell is just going to grind the banner styles nowadays? I personally grinded all of the banner styles, and it took me forever to get all of them, and I would not recommend anyone to just go for it. And you barely get anything regarding all of that. There is no reason to do a lot of the content because they take too long with very little reward. What it would be better is to balance out all of the content in this game to make it much more streamlined so that the player can just achieve higher heights and then just enjoy the whole new updates that you are working on. Because if you are adding stuff that takes hundreds of hours, players are not going to just strictly just start doing all of that. The only players that are going to be doing all of the new content are the end game players, because we've already spent thousands of hours. I have, like 11,000 hours in Trove. I know I have a problem with this game. But the reason why I'm able to just do all of the events immediately, the reason why I'm able to do all of the updates immediately and just focus on the updates is because I've already spent so many hours in this game. A new player is not going to have the same amount of hours as I do. The new player is not going to have the same amount of free time that I did just playing this game. The same amount of players are not going to spend 8 freaking years just to get all of the new content in this game. No one's going to do that. It's completely stupid. The reason that you actually just go ahead and think that the player is going to just grind out all of the things the same way that we did. But the thing is that the reason why we got to that point is because we got all of the updates over time. We started playing all of the games since the very, very beginning, and we started playing the update as soon as they got introduced. A newer player is just going to have to deal with almost 10 years worth of content immediately as soon as they start the game. They're not going to do that. We did it because we played this game for so many years that we played the update when they launch, and we managed to focus strictly on the update as soon as they launch. Newer players and even mid-game players are not going to do that. That's why a lot of players just think that cheating was like the best thing that's ever happened to this game. I cannot stress this enough. Like, community feedback is important, but you shouldn't be going dark for months and months on end and they just be like, oh yes, you know, we just replaced Luxion with the Trials of Luxion. And then once you actually play that update, it's worse than Luxion, a 7-year-old mechanic. This is what I mean that the developers don't listen to the player. They don't say absolutely anything. You could just say a simple thing. Hey, this is a thing that we're working on. Or hey, check out this stuff in the new test server. It's not going to come out a new update. Just let me know what you'll think and whatever. Like, if you are working on ideas, please share to the players, because the players are going to be the one playing the game. Like, I cannot stress this enough. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Just me reading all of this and just this, and then combine some of the latest update. It just frustrates me. As someone who has been playing this game for so many years, it's so frustrating to actually just read all of this and how clueless all of these developers really can be. Again, there are some good things that they could be working on, like new classes. They are at least just being clear on like the things that they are going for, but the problem is that they are not listening to the player and just actually just doing the things that they are saying that they are doing. I'm getting heated. I'm going to just shut the hell up and just finish this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. This is going to be a long video. Probably a lot of people are not going to get it to this point. And even despite all of that, people are just going to listen, especially if they do manage to listen to the last part. They are going to just find a way to just insult me in particular, even though I'm just talking about based on my own personal experience playing this game for so many hours. That happened in the last time, by the way, whenever I just posted the video regarding Trove's state, all of the missing players. There were some people who were just strictly just insulting me directly. So bad that even the YouTube comment section actually had to hold all of those comments for potentially offensive and all of that. That's how bad they were, some of the comments. It's just how it is. But that's all I wanted to talk about in today's video. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Again, if you like the game, just play the game if you want. But yeah, just reading all of this is just pretty frustrating. I haven't done a video regarding the Trials of Luxion, and it's because of the same reason. It's just frustrating. It's really bad. I'm just waiting for a little bit more, but that update just sucks. But anyways, take care as always, everyone. Keep on hunting. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Yeah.